Alec. Alec.
Yes.
Welcome to the Islands of Fire.
The Islands of Fire.
Survivor Vanuatu, Sarge.
Sarge is getting some fire, but Sarge is going to be on
Sag
for Sarge, but Sarge is going to be on the final.
He is the first member of our jury. Yeah.
There he is.
Just it's poetic that he kicked Rory right out of the jury. You got Sarge in there. You wouldn't imagine if Rory was the first member of the jury and it was just Rory and Sarge.
Rory and Sarge just getting to chill chill out in the camp that they provide for them. That'd be something.
But no, Rob's Rory and Sarge. Unfortunate turn of events. There was really interesting strategizing going on last episode, but ultimately amounted to
diddly squat. Unfortunately, yeah, it was interesting though, seeing the wheeling and dealing. They were trying to. Twyla seemed like she might have been back in their good graces. They might have been able to swing Eliza. The guys have been talking about pitting Eliza against the rest of the women to see if maybe they'd vote for her first, but then they turned around to maybe think that getting her on their side. Yeah, I don't know. It didn't seem to end up resulting in much because Chris even voted for Sarge with a dramatic vote in which he said they're all gonna burn. This is not a vote for you.
It's not
a vote against you. It's for you. They're all gonna they'll all burn or something like that. So it's like, wow, good for you, Chris.
But yeah, all three of the guys voted differently. So
which was kind of weird.
Get any clarification on that, or if it was just like, okay, we know we don't have the votes, so let's just vote for whoever.
Yeah, it was just kind of.
Because like if Eliza just straight up told them no, then it's gonna be all right. Well, there's no chance. But yeah, so there might not be that as much meaning behind Twyla's vote at that point. If Eliza was just straight up like no, it wouldn't have mattered.
It wouldn't have
made sense for her to vote that way. But
right, because then it might have may have made her look bad too, like when they start bringing votes up and then if it shows like, oh well, what's going on there, like there's more votes for,
so maybe we're gonna stick to the status quo. Maybe that means that she'd be willing to do something later though, like if they can pull something out later.
It's possible. There was previews that made it seem like Scout might be up to something, which I think that would be pretty epic. Like, and I mean that like legitimately, that would be really cool if Scout actually showed up and be like, I'm actually, I know what's up. Like I'm actually the real mastermind here. So
we're probably getting baited though.
Just be almost. It'd just be her singing to Sarge again in one of my favorite moments of the season so far.
Great scene.
Pretty fantastic.
And Chad walked away with the MVP last time out of nowhere because he's the one who dropped the idea.
Yeah,
he gave us so much hope in that moment that it's like, let's try to get Eliza on board.
Yeah,
do it this way. But it's like now they're in a place where they don't really have anything to leverage. It's like there's two guys left.
It's just Chad and Chris.
Right? So now they just need to hold on by any means necessary. It's no longer like trying to help preserve the guys in any way. It's just like every man for himself.
Yeah, it's gonna be real rough.
So let's see. We're getting towards the end game here. It'll be interesting. Let's see how it goes. So if you want to see the highlights of our reaction, click the link in the description, and then you can come back for discussion afterwards. All right?
Come on in.
There you have it. Episode 10, Survivor Vanuatu.
Chad. There it is. There it is. Chad's out. I mean, at this point, my only guess is that like, the idea, the women are just holding on to this to maybe give Amy false hope in the hopes that once they, maybe this is the case, so that in hopes that once they get rid of all the men, then they can upend the tea table and get rid of Amy and then duke it out amongst themselves. But it seems to me that Amy just has this iron grip on everyone. Mm-hmm. Like she at very least has Leanne. She seems to have Julie in lock. So that's 3 votes on her side against the 3 other women. I mean, it kind of comes to a standstill at that point. Like, who, if they're trying to oust Amy, then they don't have any, they're not going to have everyone on their side there. It doesn't seem. I don't really understand what the play is here. If they're just going to continue to go along with Amy, like Scout seems like she really wants to change things, but nothing
You could
happened.
always change it later. I mean,
But that's
like
isn't that
it's not like they.
isn't that the problem we've seen in past seasons where they try
Yeah.
to play the game too late?
Yeah,
It's like
well,
you let the
specifically
status
Survivor
quo
All Stars. Yeah.
you let the status quo last for too long, and then you can't do anything about it. That's I mean, it happened in Thailand too. You let the status quo go on, and then you just don't do anything about it. You just let the people who
But
control the game
that's a
let them
testament to
control
the
the
people
game.
who control the game. So I mean,
It is, but like it's just
credit to Amy at least
I just don't understand how like why everyone is just willing to go along with it. You know?
well, it's always hard to imagine. Like just like in All Stars, where it's like, why is everyone just like buying everything Rob's selling? You know, it's really hard to see, but it's just something out there on the island and people can work their magic.
But she
Uh,
doesn't seem to have any. That's the thing that I'm saying. She just sits back there on her throne and is like, "Oh, I'm not the person to ask." And it's like, how is that a mastermind? She's not telling you what to do, except she is in a cold, weird, passive way. That to me is like, how do you respect a game like that? I can't. I
damn,
don't. I certainly don't.
damn,
So
Amy hater,
I
Amy
am
hater.
absolutely.
Sheesh.
I mean,
Well,
I mean,
let's look.
in a sense, I respect it. Like in a sense, because like she's somehow been able to do it, but I just don't understand. Maybe it's just because I'm not a woman and I don't get it or something. But like, I really just I can't figure it out with a charmer like Rob or like a liar like Johnny Fairplay. I get it,
Well, the same.
but
We said the same thing about Brian. You know, Brian didn't seem like he was the most charming guy in the world, but
no, I didn't. And that was the other thing. I didn't understand that either. In fact, they had the opportunity. They had more than ample opportunities to get rid of him.
Helen, up until like the day she was voted out, she was like, "Brian is a gentleman. Clay will do whatever it takes to win, but Brian is a gentleman. He's a man of his word,
It's
and that kind of thing." So,
absolutely wild. Yeah.
but I mean, let's say, well, so they had the whole cultural little trip over to the Kava again,
Yep. Kava Chad got like kind of drunk or something.
where that was where the whole split happened, which kind of set up the dynamic for this episode, where you had the four that went on this reward, which were Chad, Chris, Amy, and
Eliza.
Eliza, and then the other four were left, and that's when Scout tried to pounce on them to vote Eliza out.
Yeah, and they were all
And
kind of in
everybody
agreement,
was on board,
except
but
for
guess what?
Leanne was a little
well,
leery on it.
It's what it seemed like, but then Leanne's like there wasn't really any resistance from her, but
Yeah,
but then guess what? Amy comes home. Amy comes home and she
it's
she
just
works
immediately
it.
like no.
She puts her chokehold back on it. She's like, no, let's vote Chad. And
It doesn't
just
make
happens.
sense. Let's just vote Chad, and then everyone's like, "Oh, okay, yeah, you're right."
But,
But
well, it's not like they're falling in line completely because
that's
we
kind
showed
of. I
we
mean,
showed
kind
that
of.
we showed that Scout was resistant to. We showed that Twyla was like, I hate that Amy's in charge, but right now,
But they're the only two that are kind of against it. That's the thing. It's like all the others are just like, "Oh yeah, okay."
well, so, for some
like-
people, for people like people in a position like Julie and Leanne, I think the status quo benefits them because
It does. Yeah, I mean that's fair. That does sort of benefit them
Amy
a
will
little bit
be the one people look
Amy's
at,
because she's going to be because that's her 1 and 2, her 2 and 3 there.
and
Basically,
they cushion themselves more from the outsiders like Chad.
yeah, I guess when you put it that way, it makes sense for them. But like, I don't know. It's just blindly following a leader is just like it's not the game I like to play. It's not the game I like to play. I don't like blindly following people into hellfire. So, I would be like, excuse me, sir.
It's not necessarily blindly following because I mean, there's to a
No,
point.
because it's a strategy. It's a strategy because they're planning on
Yeah.
maybe getting something going there.
I think
At
at
the
least
end, you know?
Twyla is very considerate of like she probably wants to turn on her at some point. Scout obviously wants Eliza gone. I mean, everybody's just annoyed with Eliza in general, but
She's just annoying.
but I mean, we haven't gotten much in the mindset of where Julie and Leanne are at specifically with that when it comes to
Yeah.
would they want to turn on Amy at any point or what? it's hard to get the whole full picture. But hey, the power rankings last time we didn't go over this, but the power rankings you had for last episode were Amy, Leanne, Scout, Julie, Twyla, Eliza, Chris, Chad. Chad got voted out, so
yeah,
makes sense. But Amy at the top. We'll see. I mean, Jeff. I like how Jeff is just calling her out for having a smug look. Like Jeff's pissed like you are. He's like, "Why are you following Amy?"
Yeah,
he basically is saying like, "Why are you guys following Amy right now?" I mean,
yeah, it's like you gotta have some reason. Please give me the goods.
And Amy's like, "Oh, thanks, Jeff."
Yeah.
But now we're getting down to we got the final guy left, Chris. So either they just vote him out next time, and then we can get into the juicy stuff.
Yeah.
Or some spicy stuff can happen here with Chris potentially.
Yeah.
If he's able to work something like in the preview, but like we saw with this preview, with Scout forming her resistance army didn't amount to anything.
Did nothing. Did literally nothing. She
but
just
I think
voted for
at
Chad
least
anyway.
people are thinking in the mindset now of like, I mean, that was really built on being annoyed by Eliza, though. That wasn't like, let's dethrone Amy now. It's like, we're annoyed by Eliza, but she did mention that she'd like to get Amy out next. So at least they're thinking that way.
It might have been interesting if they could have gotten Eliza to vote against Amy. Like, Eliza and Amy seem to have some sort of weird bond, I guess. Mm-hmm. So, yeah.
Yeah, which is why I also think that Amy would be resistant to voting Eliza out. She seems to be the closest of the women, except for maybe Julie to Eliza. But it seemed like Julie and Eliza were close, but then Julie's just annoyed with her too.
Are you talking about Eliza? Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. That's weird.
Everyone's just annoyed with her, and they just pretend to. Some of them pretend to be nicer than others. But Amy is good on that front, so I think she's like, well, I'm good with Eliza. Like, I don't need to vote her out just because she's annoying. You know? It doesn't benefit me to keep Chad around because she hasn't really made an effort to form a relationship with the guys. I think she's built this
wall.
She's built up this wall.
She's built a wall
all her life, and she keeps people out.
I mean, kind of. That's sort of what's happening.
But she's like built her whole thing on this women power thing, right? She's pushing the women's alliances. They never last, so it's emphasizing that. But and then she's the queen. We'll just see if they can come together against her or not. Yeah.
There's everyone must trust me because I say so.
Mm-hmm.
I can trust people.
But she doesn't even do it like that. Like she's confident. She's got a smug look, but then she'll be like, "Well, I'm not the one to ask." When
it's such a weird. It's such a strange. I don't get it. I don't really understand.
She's like, "Oh, what? You think I'm in charge? Oh no."
It's because you are. Because you are.
She doesn't want the negative consequences that come with being the leader, but she wants to be the leader. So, I mean, we'll see. We'll see if it catches up to her. But usually with leaders, it tends to. But, I mean, Boston Rob, it didn't like he got to the end.
Yeah.
Despite being the person in front the whole time and the leader. So, we'll see how it pans out.
Yeah.
Now, what would your power rankings be for now? The final
largely unchanged, almost completely unchanged, I think. Go through it again.
Amy, Leanne, Scout, Julie, Twyla, Eliza, Chris, Chad.
Maybe swapping Scout and Julie, because I think Julie and Leanne have secure positions. Scout, as a free thinker, is still up there, because she has the power to potentially resist, but...
So Amy, Leanne, Julie, Scout, Twyla, Eliza, Chris.
Yeah.
Do you think that Chris is dead in the water here, or do you think this is going to be the time where they're like, okay, let's use him?
I think they might.
Especially
somebody might
since
be able
everybody's
to.
Annoyed with Eliza. I mean,
somebody might. There might be ability to use him. I don't think he's long for the game though. He's definitely in a use him as a pawn position. Mm-hmm. You know, he's definitely in the last place. You know, he's kind of dead in the water. But someone, some faction may decide to maybe use him for a vote or to get somebody out.
So in a sense, you could argue maybe Eliza's lower than him.
Possibly, but it's hard to say. at the very least, Amy has her on her side, so that automatically puts Chris in a lower position.
Mm-hmm.
Like,
yeah.
Maybe they could get Eliza out, but she's definitely in the lowest of the totem pole of the women. But Chris is like, Chris's only is like use is as a tool or just getting voted out next time.
Mm-hmm.
So,
because like sometimes you have one left, and then that's when people want to use it. We use that person to get other people out.
Yeah.
But sometimes
desperately needs immunity.
Yeah, sometimes you have all stars though, where they were just gonna, like Sheehan was the last one, but they didn't have any interest in working with her. Like, vote her out and get through our tribe. But yeah, so who would you award your MVP to for the episode?
I would probably give it to Scout.
Scout for her attempted resistance.
Attempted resistance, doing some interesting wheeling and dealing. Honestly, she kind of came into her own here. I mean, I think the reasoning behind it was kind of weak, but at the very least, having the idea and forming the thought in everyone's mind to like, let's maybe get rid of Amy.
Mm-hmm.
At some point, that's good.
Yeah. Now, I know you're upset with sticking to the status quo. I don't like sticking to the status quo either.
Yeah,
but if you look at it on paper, or maybe not on paper, but you look at, we lost Chris instead of Eliza. I think that's better for entertainment. Like, I think Eliza's more interesting.
Just seeing them eat each other alive, you mean?
No, I mean just as a person. I think Chris is not, or I mean, I think Chad is a less entertaining player. Like, I didn't really do much.
Chad. Okay.
Did I say Chris? Yeah,
you said Chris. I thought you meant like next time if we lose Chris rather than Eliza, it makes it more interesting. And I was like, no, maybe.
No, I mean we lost Chad instead of Eliza, so I think that's a good trade, honestly. Chad didn't really do much for me.
I mean, sure, but whatever.
Is added a lot.
Yeah, that's definitely true. But
there's a lot of drama surrounding Eliza at all times. So
everything's drama with her. That is pretty true. But it comes to a point where it's like when you get this late in the game, you kind of take who you can get, and it becomes a lot more about overall strategy rather than I don't Chad was not the most interesting player, so I'll take that. And it's like, well, yes, but sticking to the status quo is really boring still. So,
but I'm glad we still have Chris. Chris is fun to watch.
Yes, yeah. Chris is a lot more fun to watch than Chad. I'll give you that. That's for sure. So,
all right, and he's come a long way from being the last guy in that to ruin that first challenge for the guys.
Yeah,
sucking on the balance beam.
That's right.
All right, so what video would you recommend our viewers watch after this one?
Y'all should go check out episode. Go watch episode 8 of Survivor Amazon.
I don't know. I'm sure it's good.
Yeah, go check it out. Yeah,
Amazon. All right, thank you for watching. Subscribe to the channel. Subscribe to our podcast feed. Like the video. Leave a comment. Hit the notification bell. Follow us on Twitter, Instagram, and like us on Facebook. Tarqaron TWO. All right.